No, nothing at all. Okay. So what happens then for the rest of the trial?
So we're going to actually go through a proper class now. Just not all of it, but we'll go through like, the key elements. Is that okay, Ibrahim?
Yeah, that's good. Can I leave you to do it then? Is that
Yeah,
okay? I
absolutely.
don't. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Bye.
So I'm going to share my screen with you, Ibrahim. Just give me a couple of secs. Right. So as we kind of briefly discussed, this is a program called Pitch Perfect, Public Speaking Level 1, and it's an introduction. So here's a really boring definition of public speaking. The act or process of making speeches in public. Okay, well, we already know that, don't we, Ibrahim? So we don't need to kind of, well, this is key. A good speech should have one of these goals. Give me an idea of what you think might be in a good speech.
Drama, like
Drama. Oh, that's a good one. I've not heard that one before. Okay, that's interesting. Why would you say drama?
if you don't put any action into it, it's kind of going to be boring.
Hmm. Okay, good shout. Okay, let's see what the first one is. To influence. Now, why would that be, do you think?
Is it because if you influence someone, they'll kind of they'll do the same thing as well, and they'll follow you.
Potentially, yeah, you're trying to convince them of something, aren't you?
Yeah.
So, what about that one? To educate.
To educate. If you don't learn, I'm not sure about this one.
What, sorry? You're not
Not
sure? Well, I mean, your teachers are doing it every day, aren't they? They're trying to educate you. Are they succeeding? That's the question. Okay, to entertain. Well, a good speech could be to entertain as well, couldn't it? So, plenty of examples of that on YouTube and all the other various platforms. And it could be a mixture of those three or even all three, you know. And the drama, what you mentioned, would be one of the elements that we would put in there, exactly as you said, to make that speech or that presentation a bit more exciting. Okay, so Pitch Perfect's all about public speaking. What do you know about public speaking, Ibrahim? What do you think it might be?
me speaking public.
Of course, yes. Um, okay, let's get a little bit more personal. How can public speaking help you, do you think?
Well, maybe read more expression and have yeah, stuff like that.
Okay, so make yourself a bit more expressive. Yeah, absolutely. And who do you think might need to be good at public speaking?
People who talk a lot, like people who do meetings quite regularly.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Especially if they're the ones that are doing the presentations or having to do presentations. And again, they might be trying to influence, that particular meeting of their ideas. They might be trying to educate people on a new service or product or, new idea. And they certainly might be trying to put a little bit of entertainment to make it, engaging. Okay. So normally in a group class, we do a kind of an activity at this point. Everybody discussing, what we've just done and those little elements there. However, we've kind of done that really, haven't we?
Yeah.
So, a little brief history of public speaking. We can trace it back to ancient Greek and Roman times, maybe even a little bit further back than that. And interestingly, some of the methods are still used today. So just like today in Houses of Parliament, have you ever seen Question Time?
No.
So Prime Minister's Question Time. It's all of the MPs are there, or most of them, and then they'll be all firing questions at the Prime Minister about different policies he might have coming up, and different ideas that are going around. So very similar in the Roman sort of Senate, they would have these kind of debates, and sometimes a bit more about life and death rather than just answering tough questions. But Parliament's Question Time is very intense. It's quite entertaining to watch because the Prime Minister is getting jeered quite a lot. Lots of people shouting and making silly noises and trying to put him off. And his job is to try and get through the noise and get his message across. Now, hopefully, you won't be in such a hostile environment, but very interesting to see how they handle that. Okay. Do you know who this guy is?
Uh, I'm not sure.
Have you seen him? Do you think you might have seen him?
I don't think so, no.
No. Okay, you might be. What year are you in?
Year six.
Okay, yeah. So maybe when you get to high school, you might cover. This is a gentleman called Martin Luther King, who was
Oh, I
a.
do know him.
You know him?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What do you know?
I didn't know much. Someone told me about him, like, it's quite a while ago, though.
Okay.
That's
So
something.
he did a very famous speech called, well, one of the very famous lines in it was, "I have a dream." And then he goes on to explain like the current situation in America when he was an activist was a very racist environment, anti-black. They segregated black people. They wouldn't let them ride on buses with white people and lots of different things. So he was an advocate for black people in the time. And then his very famous speech was all about that they had this dream that there wouldn't be this segregation, that there wouldn't be this, anti-racist environment that him and his people lived in. Okay. Do you know this guy? Are you a footballer?
Uh, not footballer, but isn't he Manchester City's coach?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know his name?
And I don't know his name, though.
Okay, good shout. It is Pep Guardiola. Okay, and as you say correctly, Manchester City's manager. So, why would he need to be good at speaking, do you think, public speaking?
Like, if anyone ever asks him questions, you need to know, like, how to answer them. Like, yeah.
Mm, yeah. Anything else? Think about the dressing room.
He used to talk to his, like, team and, like, encourage them and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to tell them his ideas, got to influence them that his way of playing football is the best way. They've got to believe that. They've got to play to that, so he's got a lot of influencing to do. Um, a lot of education. There might be different formations. You might need players to do different jobs than they're probably used to. If he's got to pull a winger back to do, you know, uh, one of the defensive roles, then, he's got to educate there as well. And finally, who do we have here? Do you know this guy?
Yeah,
I knew you'd know him. Who is it?
beast.
Do you watch his stuff?
No, my sister does sometimes, so
Oh, okay, yeah. My youngest boy, he's 14. He watches a little bit of it. So obviously, you know who he is. You know what he does.
yeah, he's
Mm,
dream.
YouTuber. So why would he need to be good at public speaking, do you think?
Because, like, he's famous, so, like, people can ask him, like, lots of questions, like, well, answers and stuff like that.
Mm, yeah.
Into,
Think about what he does. He's there, doing these YouTube shows. He's speaking a lot, isn't he?
yeah,
He's got to be good. I mean, he's got his own style of speaking, which is absolutely, brilliant. He's gets millions and millions of views. So obviously, he's entertaining, isn't he? His is all about entertainment, isn't it?
yeah.
So and if he's not entertaining and he's not good at public speaking, then maybe he wouldn't get as many views possibly. Okay, some more examples. So leaders, sports people, presenters, teachers, business people, and lots of others. They all probably need to be very good at public speaking. Okay, now we're going to look at this lady here. Do you know who it is?
No,
Okay, so this is a lady called Michelle Obama. Do you know that name?
no,
Okay, this is a bit before your time, really. Her husband, Barack Obama, was a US president, maybe probably about 8, 10 years ago now. So, you were very young at that time, so you wouldn't have paid any attention to this. However, his wife, she's the first lady, so her job was to obviously do different kind of motivational speeches was one of the things that she was very good at. So in this particular one, she's doing a speech for people, students that have just graduated from university. So it's only about a minute long. It's just a snippet of the speech. But what I want you to do is just observe the speech and see if we can pull out some good bits that you like and think about why you like them. Okay?
Okay.
With a little bit of analysis, we're going to kind of analyze her speech and see if we can kind of dissect what are the good bits and why we like those good bits. Okay. What did you think about that, Ibrahim?
It was very like persuasive.
Say again, sorry.
Very persuasive.
Very persuasive. Yeah. Yeah, she was convincing, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Anything else that you kind of picked up in that speech?
I like the way she said like, face worst things in a bad grade.
Say again.
I like the bit where she said,
Oh, yeah, that
face worst things in a bad grade.
yeah, there's many things in life that you're gonna face that are worse than a bad grade. Yeah, yeah, it's a good line, wasn't it? I
Yeah.
thought what was very interesting is the way that she kind of built it, and built it, and built it, and then she kind of like peaked with that, and knock you off your feet. It's sort of really clever. And also, some of the little nuances which I think were quite cool were the power of threes. So where she mentioned about, she put things in threes like money, cars. I can't remember the other one. There's one money, cars, and something else. So there's a very interesting, really well put together. Okay, great. So let's just move on. Okay, we're going to play a little game here now. So it's not going to be this game in particular, but this is one of the games that we would play in, the lesson one. However, this game that we're going to play is something called the 1 minute word challenge. So it's something called impromptu speaking. Would you kind of have a guess at what that might be?
I could just be like something which you have a panda and you just say it.
You know what? You're not far off there, actually. It is impromptu just means on the spot, doesn't it? Something that's not been prompted, i.e., it's not been practiced or prepared. Okay, so I'm gonna just pull up a little word generator. It's gonna just generate some random words. I'll make sure that they're not too crazy and just something that's quite simple for you. And then I'm going to put up a little timer on screen to just let me know if you see the timer. And then I want you to speak to this word for 30 seconds. So the timer will just be for 30 seconds. And then I'm not going to help you now, but I want you to just have a go. And then if I need to, I'll give you some little prompts after you've finished. Okay. What I'll do is I'm gonna put the word in the chat for you. So let me just find something that's suitable. And then once you see the word, just have a moment, and then when I click start, then start speaking to that word. Okay. So
Okay.
okay, just let me know. Have you got the word?
Um, reptile. Yeah.
Okay, ready?
Yeah, I got the word.
Off you go.
That's a hard one. Uh,
Think of different reptiles.
um, uh, is it crocodile one? Is it crocodile one?
It is. Yeah. Now don't worry too much. It was. It's a challenge, isn't it? But just
Yeah, it's quite hard.
recognize that feeling because I wanted to. I know it's a bit cruel, but I wanted to just just recognize that feeling of like, okay, it's quite intense. I'm feeling a bit nervous. My brain's not working. I can't get my words out. Okay, now we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to breathe, all right? Because I can see that you're quite anxious now. Okay, so in through your nose, out through your mouth, big deep ones, three of those, okay?
Okay.
And then I'm going to give you another word. Now, this time, what I'm going to say to you is think about the five W's, okay? The what, the where, the when, the why, and I know the last one isn't a W, but the how, okay? So when you see this word, think about those five little pointers. What is it? When? Is there a time element to it? When could this happen? How did it come about? How can I use it? How, you know, those kind of words. Sorry, those kind of prompts. So use those five W's, yeah, to prompt you now. Okay. I'm going to see if I can find something a little bit simpler. Okay. Right. Start. Keep your breathing going. I'm going to put it in the chat again for you.
Okay.
Have you got it?
Message. Yeah, Europe, I got it.
Okay. Oh, where my timer's on.
Okay, so Europe is wait. So Europe
Just,
is the penultimate, so second to last smallest
just wait a second. Go on.
continent on Earth.
Just wait a second, Ibrahim. Let me just put the timer on. Okay, ready? Off you go.
Okay, so Europe is the penultimate, meaning second to last smallest continent in the world. It is north. It is so it's in the northern hemisphere, and we live in it. What else? It's just crazy long time ago. Uh, and many famous landmarks in it, like Stonehenge and stuff like that.
Brilliant. Well done. Excellent. Okay. Oh, very good. What was the difference, do you think, between the first one? I know I give you a couple of little pointers, but was it the subject or was it just that, right, I kind of knew how to prompt my brain a little bit now?
I think it's both.
Okay, good. Right. I'm going to give you one more. Okay. Now you're feeling a bit more confident. I can see shoulders a little bit more relaxed. Okay, good. So let's see. Again, try and find something a little bit more. Oh, you'll probably be doing lots of these in year six. Let's have a look. So that. Have you got the word?
Assignment. Yeah.
Okay. Have a little think about that before you see the timer. And off you go.
Assignments are like tests, which you do to go like you get grades for them, and depending on your grades, you go like to better universities, stuff like that. And you only get like you get them after every like term, and different types of assessments like SATs, GCSEs, like the different versions, depending on like how old you are. So GCSEs is for like seniors, where the SATs is for like year six, stuff like that. Yeah, you have to do them like once a term, so you do them quite a bit. And yeah,
Very good. Excellent. Okay. Now look at that. In just three little games, you got better, better, and better. So well done, you. Okay. Excellent effort. Okay. Now that's just an example of one of the little games that we play. And I think it's one of the ones that's quite consistent throughout the course, especially on the level one, because it's so useful. One, it gets you used to speaking on the spot. And if you can do that well, when you get the opportunity to prepare a presentation, easy or easier, I should say. Yeah, does that make sense?
yeah.
Okay, so if you think about it, okay, someone's just thrown a word at you, like I just did, and you've spoken pretty confidently, eloquently, with consistency for 30 seconds. Now, if I gave you the task of preparing a presentation for a minute or a minute and a half, perhaps, I think you kind of find that quite easy. And especially if it's a subject that you like. Okay. So if I gave you that task, which is something that I do further through the program, what kind of subject would you pick, do you think?
Uh, something related to like math, maybe.
Maths. Okay. Do you know a lot about maths?
Yeah, I like math quite a lot.
Okay. And do you think you could turn that into a presentation for a minute and a half?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And you could make it engaging for the audience?
Yeah.
And what you would have to think about possibly, and in fact, you tell me, what would you have to think about if you had a kind of non-maths audience?
And you have to kind of like convince them to like, you have to use also persuasive language, like persuade them so then they influence them to like math and like
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Okay, now let's switch the audience. If we had an audience that was well into their maths, they knew their maths, then what? How would you change that presentation?
Then you have to put like as much detail because they probably know like quite a lot.
Hmm.
It's not
Okay. So then how would you kind of pitch your presentation to a maths audience then?
I'll do it as like more explaining than like so like there's more explaining like not actually like it's not actually like teaching like not actually like teaching them math but like explaining how like works and stuff like that instead of like actually just teaching them it.
Okay. Imagine a group of friends. You're all amazing at maths. Yeah. And the topic is you're all going to be talking about maths. Now think about that. What you would say, how you would say it, the type of language that you would possibly use, because now you can use jargon that is associated with maths because everyone's going to understand, aren't they?
Yeah.
So it's a completely different presentation, isn't it, to a non-maths crowd, to a maths crowd. So, and that's really interesting to kind of understand is your audience, as you go further down the line with public speaking, is trying to gauge your audience and understand where they're at. And a really good pointer for that is that if it's a general audience, let's say, for example, a school assembly, general audience, you're going to get a few people. Let's keep it at maths. You'll have a few people that, yeah, they're going to be really good at the maths. They're going to know what you're talking about. But the majority are going to be kind of maybe average, maybe some bit below average. So you would pitch that presentation totally differently, wouldn't you? Yeah. And then if you were, for example, doing a presentation at Maths Club, then that'd be a completely different presentation altogether, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Right, Ibrahim, we're going to wrap up there. If
Okay.
you can bring Mum back into the screen if she's nearby.
Okay. Kick it back now. Hi.
Hello there.